Kons Podcast.
Kons Podcast.
You hate me, don't you?
Hit that like button, subscribe and
You
share.
hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you?
Constant content.
You hate me, don't you?
So number one, you know what I'm saying? A museum out in Paris was robbed in broad daylight over the weekend with some rare jewels. They said well-trained thieves. So Playboi Cardi, you know what I'm saying, made a headline. Playboi Cardi made a headline. He was in a limousine out in Utah where he allegedly punched his girlfriend in the trunk. Trump is considering, according to TMZ, is considering commutating Diddy, commuting, they calling it, on his sentence. Good for you. And then they got off on scooters. That was the craziest part of the story to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got off on scooters. Y'all was seen on scooters. Why y'all didn't get caught if y'all seen during all this? At a limo, arguing about sex. I guess arguing about either sex in the back of the limo. Maybe Playboi Cardi wanted to get down in the back of the limo. Maybe his girl wasn't with it. Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? Y'all? What's happening? You know what I mean? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? It's episode 319. Episode 319. I mean, we have 319 today. You know what I'm saying? We got too much today. Just three little topics. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody had a cool weekend, though. You know what I mean? Mine was definitely dope. You know what I mean? For those that know, you know what I mean? I definitely went to that Niners game on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Sunday night football. We played the Falcons. I'm going to definitely have an episode about that. Just going over some of the stuff I recorded, pictures I took, went to the museum and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely going to be an episode in the future, either this week or next week. You know what I mean? Depending on time, management, and all that, and what's all going to be going on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I mean? I just got a few little topics today. You know what I'm saying? Hope all y'all had a good weekend on this. You know what I mean? It's a good Tuesday. Didn't record yesterday because of the weekend I had was so dope. You feel me? I just was drained came Monday. You know what I'm saying? Just was tired, sluggish, didn't want to do nothing. Was trying to drink coffee, get energy. Wasn't working. Energy was just gone yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But that's because of the great weekend I had. You feel me? Definitely went to that Niners game. You know what I'm saying? Niners game was lit. Levi's Stadium. You know what I'm saying? Everything was dope about that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm going to do an episode about that and show y'all everything I recorded, pictures I took. You know what I'm saying? Went to the museum and all that. So I'm going to show y'all all that. You know what I'm saying? Future episode in the near future. You know what I'm saying? Just got to get my clips together and all that. You know what I mean? But yeah, today though, you know what I'm saying, we're just going to be going over what happened over the weekend type stuff, you know? Something happened out in Paris, you know what I'm saying? They was robbed, straight movie style, heist style, you know what I mean? A museum out there was robbed in broad daylight. We're going to touch on that. Also, Playboi Cardi made a headline. We're going to touch on what he made a headline about. And also, Trump is considering something towards Diddy. Maybe he might be getting out of jail. We don't know. We're going to talk about it. But yeah, that's the three topics today, though, for episode 319. Know what I'm saying? In case you just stopped by or in case you just hit that subscribe button or something, this is where we go over the news, go over the headlines, go over what's going on, go over whatever events and headlines that's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that you've seen that was hitting your optical whenever you logged on the computer, whether your homepage is MSNBC, Yahoo News, Google News, Hip Hop DS, whatever source is that you get your headlines from, I'm probably touching on some of them headlines right here on Kons Podcast. You know what I mean? So tell your friends, you know what I'm saying? Keep it locked. Let me keep you updated on this wicked world that we all live in. You know what I mean? But yeah, episode 319, no, you know what I'm saying? Without no further ado, without no more chit chat, no more banter. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and jump right into these topics. You know what I mean? So number one, you know what I'm saying? A museum out in Paris was robbed in broad daylight over the weekend with some rare jewels. They said well-trained thieves. They took what belonged to Napoleon and Napoleon's wife. They was crowns and like some necklaces. You know what I'm saying? They said these items were priceless. They used portable saws, they said, to cut through the glass. They said they had some type of crane and elevated their tools that they needed to the top. You know what I'm saying? And brought these portable saws down there, and they used these saws to cut to cut through the glass where they was able to get the items. You know what I'm saying? And also they disguised themselves as construction workers, put on construction worker vests. This was, mind you, this was during the daytime. Everybody was in there, people was moseying around. You know what I'm saying? It was during visiting hours. You know what I mean? So they did this in broad daylight. So the next little clips you about to see is just some of the news coverage on this story about this museum in Paris being robbed in broad daylight. Check these clips out.
It's on after 3 daring scooter riding thieves stole priceless jewels from the world's most visited museum, the Louvre. It happened just after the Paris Museum opened. Visitors were already inside a former royal palace. The museum is also home to the Mona Lisa. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer is tracking the heist from our London bureau.
Good evening. This was no midnight caper. It was a brazen heist at 9:30 in the morning while tourists were already inside the museum. Here's how the thieves broke in. On a hoist they'd parked at the backside of the museum. Dressed in fake uniforms, they broke a window and made straight for the sumptuous Apollo room, where France's crown jewels are on display, including treasures that belong to the Empress Eugenie, wife of Napoleon III. France's BFM TV says this video shot by a tourist actually shows one of the robbers in a high-vis vest just before they fled. It took them all of 4 minutes to grab 8 priceless pieces from the collection and escape on a moped in such a hurry that this crown was found lying in the street. As the police gathered evidence and launched an investigation, the Louvre closed and hundreds of tourists were ushered out. Many disappointed to miss seeing the gallery's star attraction, the Mona Lisa. But not Jim and Joan Carpenter.
I knew something was up because of the way they swept the whole museum.
But it's great. This is our last day of a long trip, and this is the most exciting part today.
Tonight, France's President Emmanuel Macron vowed to catch the thieves. Earlier this year, he had announced an €800 million makeover for the Louvre that was meant in part to secure the collection. But unfortunately, Jerika, that's still on the drawing board.
Well-trained and really organized thieves broke into the Louvre Museum in Paris and in a matter of minutes successfully made off with priceless jewels, at least one that once belonged to Napoleon's wife. This is not a new Ocean's 11 movie. This actually happened yesterday, and what is even crazier, it was in broad daylight, and the museum was open with tourists and security and, people in it. The jewel thieves, dressed as construction workers, used an aerial lift to get up to a window, and then they had portable saws to cut through the glass of both the window and then the case where the jewels were on display. They made off with their haul on, are you ready for this? Scooters. It's so very French. Now, it would seem in their haste they may have dropped one item, a crown believed to belong to Napoleon's wife, Empress Eugenie, which was discovered damaged outside of the gallery.
As you seen, you know what I mean, in those clips of the news coverage, you know what I mean, I also forgot to let you know that they got away on scooters, but you heard that in the news clip, you know what I mean, and they dropped a crown, you know what I'm saying. Playboi Cardi, you know what I'm saying, made a headline. Playboi Cardi made a headline. He was in a limousine out in Utah where he allegedly punched his girlfriend in the chest over a dispute that they was allegedly having about sex in the back seat of a limo. He ended up punching his girl in the chest and also punched the limo driver for trying to intervene. Punched the limo driver in the jaw after he tried to intervene. They had a 911 call from the calls that was coming in about the matter that TMZ had put out. Check this clip out.
Just fighting on River Road just before the half-cock light. Deputies responding, the caller didn't stay in the area. He said they were 2 black suburban-type vehicles, both parked at the River Road light on River Road. It looked like they were headed into the half-cock intersection, but he didn't stick around. There was also a female standing next to the 2 men fighting. The caller, he says he was the driver of a limousine company and that the individual he was driving was the one who punched him. I'll add the information to your call comments.
Doesn't sound like it's ongoing, but I'll let you know. Thank you.
We just spoke with Carl. He's still at that address. He's stating that the suspect that punched him got in another vehicle another black Suburban. He went down Rubber Road, so we're going to try and find him. Apparently he's threatened to hit and shoot that other driver too, so we're going to go track him down. Have one of you guys stage at 100 South just to see if we can catch this guy. It's a limousine connection, black SUV. We're going to have dispatch put out an ATL for it as well. You guys can point through, I think we just found it. Stand by. We're at 1677 North River Road, Tango 85 for Alpha Uniform. If we could get in a unit.
As you see, you know what I'm saying? That was just a clip of some of the 9/11 calls that they blended all together. That was the audio that was leaked out by TMZ. You know what I'm saying? His girl Gio tried to cover for him and say that it was her that punched the driver, but several witnesses and statements say otherwise. You know what I mean? In these next clips you're going to see, these is just more details about this Playboi Cardi situation. Check these clips out.
Playboi Cardi just got charged with assault, and it all started because of an argument about sex in the back of a limo. Here's the deal. Cardi was on tour in Utah, riding in a limo with his girlfriend. The driver told cops that Cardi and his girl got into a super heated argument, apparently about sex. The driver, a guy named Carl, says he tried to intervene, and that's when Cardi allegedly threatened to beat up both him and his girlfriend. Things escalated fast. Carl claims Cardi then punched his girlfriend in the chest. He admitted he didn't actually see the punch, but he saw her hunched over, holding near her chest. This prompted the driver to pull over to a safer location on the highway. As Cardi's girlfriend was getting out of the car, Carl says Cardi just socked him right in the face out of nowhere. The alleged punch left him with a bruised, swollen jaw. Cops were called and took photos of the injuries. Cardi was officially cited for misdemeanor assault on the driver, not his partner. The driver is now preparing to lawyer up, saying he mainly wants to ensure Cardi doesn't hurt anyone else.
Get out and face that way. I ask you, I'm telling you, get out and face that way.
Playboi Cardi was arrested and charged after it was said he put hands on Gio allegedly. This all started in the back of a limo where the driver stated that Cardi started putting hands on Gio because she wouldn't let him clap it in the back of the limo. That's when he claims he starts hearing Cardi put hands on Gio in the back of the limo. Here. Claims when he turned around, he seen her slouched over holding her chest as if he just punched her in the chest. Then it got worse. The limo driver stressing. Cardi said, "Oh, you want some too?" Punched him, give him a nice little, McChicken. He said it left his lip busted, jaw messed up, etc. You see, Gio tried to save him and said, "No, I'm the one who punched the limo driver because he was in our business." Security said, "Nah, he punched him." And believe it or not, Cardi fans are mad at Gio and the security guard. Cardi fans stressing, what did Gio do to Cardi? All in all, Cardi has been formally charged, and we will see how far this goes. What do you guys think about this whole situation?
You know what I mean? That was just extra clips on this Playboi Cardi situation about him being arrested, you know what I mean, over allegedly assaulting the driver and assaulting his girlfriend in the back of a limo. Trump. Oh, y'all can see me? We live? Yeah, hope you enjoyed that last clip. You know what I mean? Hope you enjoyed that last clip. So now is a good, perfect time in the middle of this episode for you to hit that subscribe button. You feel me? Hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Comment on something that you might see in this episode that might trigger you to say something. Go ahead and hit the comment button and let your thoughts flow. Let me know what you think on what you're seeing. You know what I mean? But yeah, though, you know what I'm saying? Now's your time to hit that subscribe button. If you ain't, you know what I mean? Go ahead and hit that right now. You know what I mean? Let's get back to that. Trump is considering, according to TMZ, is considering commutating Diddy, commuting, they calling it, on his sentence, which is just pretty much a get out of jail early card. You know what I mean? It's not a pardon. A pardon would be when they would wipe all crimes, also with getting you out of jail. You know what I mean? So commutating is not pardon, is definitely getting out of jail, but the crimes that you committed is definitely going to stick to you. And being that these are sex crimes, he would still have to register as a offender. You know what I mean? By him being commutated, his sentence. Trump is considering this. You know what I mean? Now we don't know. There's also that clip going around of him talking of him when he was asked if he would pardon Diddy. This clip right here. Check this clip out.
Sean Diddy Combs Right.
Would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yes.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but he seems, I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you, sir.
And it's hard, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office, and he made some terrible statements. So, I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs?
I would say so. You're saying, you know what I mean? That was him just saying, being asked for pardon Diddy, and he said he didn't know. You know what I mean? He said he was with him, he was cool, and then he said some bad stuff about him when he was running for president. So we don't know. There's that clip that's been circulating around after this had came out that he's considering commutating Diddy. You know what I mean? So these next little clips, you know what I'm saying, is about that you're about to see. One is somebody going to break down commutating versus pardon, and also just other clips that's going to discuss further details on this matter with Trump being considering commutating Diddy. Check it out.
About what's going on with Diddy. Now, Trump is considering commuting Diddy's sentence as early as this week. And by the way, we both have known that behind the scenes, ever since Diddy was having to go to jail and, on trial, we knew that this was something that was going to happen. As a matter of fact, Lindsey Granger 7 months ago sat up here and said this.
Top of that, some tea I just heard is that possibly Diddy's already talking to Trump's team about a pardon.
Ooh.
I can't tell you the source, but I did hear that he's already having that conversation yesterday.
Pardon?
And so I think that's why Diddy has been quiet lately.
Well, Fred, break this down for us, because that was a pardon, but now what Trump is considering is commuting Diddy's sentence.
Yeah, there's a big difference between a commutation and a pardon. I mean, a pardon is when it's almost like the crime never existed. But a commutation is just getting out of jail early. And there are legal ramifications to that. I mean, right now, because Diddy was convicted of a sex offense, he has to be a registered sex offender. And there's all kinds of travel restrictions, where you can live, the type of work you can do.
You can't be sitting in the playground.
Right. So if he were pardoned, he would no longer be a registered sex offender.
Okay.
However, if he's commuted, he's still a registered sex offender, and he'd have significant travel restrictions. There's certain countries in the world that he wouldn't be able to go to. So I'm sure Diddy and his people would like to have a pardon, but a commutation is good too.
Now, George Santos was commuted earlier this week, right?
Yeah.
Or last week. Okay. All right. So that's interesting. Now, some of the staff at the White House, according to TMZ, is urging Trump not to commute the sentence, but Trump will do what he wants, as we know. And they're saying Trump could set Diddy free as early as this week. If you were advising Diddy, would you say wait out for a pardon or just get the sentence? Oh, you could probably get a pardon later.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you'd always want a pardon over a commutation, but the number one thing that Diddy and his team should be worried about is getting him out of jail. Right. Now. I mean, it's dangerous in there. From what I hear, he's got some health concerns, right, that he'd want to probably get dealt with. So you just want to get out of prison, and
he couldn't. Yeah, he just can't do those school appearances he was planning.
According to a high-ranking White House official, they told TMZ that Trump is considering commuting Diddy's sentence as early as this week. Now, according to this source, Trump is going back and forth on this, and there are some White House staff that are saying, don't do it, leave it alone, he wasn't supporting you, but the source made it clear Trump is going to do what he wants, so it could happen as early as this week. Now, y'all remember when there was, some of Diddy's attorneys that were doing interviews and saying that they were having conversations with Trump, and then they came back out and said they weren't having the conversations. So this source is saying that even when all that back and forth was happening, there were really conversations going on, and the day after Diddy was sentenced, the conversation started again, and that was the same week that Trump, remember that clip of him went viral when he said that Diddy just asked for a pardon? So all that is happening. So Diddy has served 13 months at this point. He was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months, but if this happens, none of that will matter, so we'll have to wait to see what happens.
And you're gonna come home and be you gotta come home and be Trump's hoe now.
Oh my guy, 100%.
When they do that UFC fight on the White House lawn, you will be the performance, you will be the live entertainment, you will be shaking ass.
That was letting you know that Trump is considering commutating Diddy, which means pretty much letting him out of jail early. But that's all I got for today. You know what I mean? That's all the topics I have for you today. You know what I mean? In case you dozed off or something or was rolling up, didn't pay attention, this is everything that we went over. I just let you know. You know what I mean? A museum in Paris was robbed in broad daylight. They say by some clever, some career thieves. You know what I'm saying? They had took Napoleon's crown, Napoleon's wife crown, and some different jewels, necklaces and whatnot, and got off those some scooters. And they are still at large, I believe. They didn't get caught yet. Also, let you know that Playboi Cardi was allegedly arrested, you know what I'm saying, for assaulting his girlfriend and assaulting a limo driver. Assaulted his girlfriend in the back of the limo driver, and the limo driver tried to get involved to intervene, and he ended up hitting him in the jaw. Also, let you know that Trump is considering commutating Diddy, which means letting him out of jail early. You know what I mean? That's everything I'll let you know for episode 319, you know what I'm saying? In case you dozed off or in case you got distracted, that's everything I'll let you know in case you want to go back and peep those topics, you know what I mean? Now it's time for the final and closing thoughts of the episode of these topics that I just went over. So a museum, you know what I'm saying? A museum out in Paris just robbed in broad daylight. What is going on out there in the UK to where y'all got a museum? Y'all getting hit Ocean's 11 style. Getting jewels and priceless items took from you, and then they got off on scooters. That was the craziest part of the story to me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got off on scooters. Y'all was seen on scooters. Why y'all didn't get caught if y'all seen doing all this? You know what I mean? It's crazy out there. You know what I'm saying? Out there that for them to have robbed a museum and then cut through the glass with portable saws, they said. And this was in broad daylight. Everybody was walking around, people mingling. I guess y'all was disguised as construction workers, so I guess nobody really paid it no mind that y'all was making a bunch of noise cutting through glass with portable saws that y'all had a crane lift up to the top and receive them. You know what I'm saying? Inside the museum, got to cutting through glass, got the items out, you know what I'm saying, and made off with it on some scooters. It's crazy though, you know what I mean? And then you drop something in the street, drop the whole crown, you know what I mean, that they later retrieved. Y'all had this plan, but y'all was definitely sloppy, you know what I mean? Y'all definitely had this planned out, and y'all definitely did your thing. I guess y'all did your thing as y'all got off with it, but this was definitely some sloppy work though, for sure, being that y'all dropping all outside on the escape. Y'all just planned this escape on some scooters. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Elaborate plan for y'all to get in there, but the escape was just a little sloppy. I mean, how you dropping stuff on the way out? This supposed to be priceless items and you just dropping it on the street? That's sloppiness to me, you know what I mean? A bunch of elaborate planning, but I guess y'all panicked on the getaway and got to dropping items all in the street. That's definitely not a good look for you criminals robbing a whole museum, getting some priceless items. You know what I mean? Napoleon's crown and all that. Some archives. You got some ancient history up in there, you know what I mean? But I think they still at large, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe their elaborateness is going to pay off. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it seems sloppy to me at the end of the day when you overall look at it, you know what I mean? Playboi Cardi, you know what I'm saying? Playboi Cardi was in the headline. He was in the headline for, I mean, allegedly, now they said when I first read this, they said they was in the back of the limo arguing about sex. I guess arguing about either sex in the back of the limo. Maybe Playboi Cardi wanted to get down in the back of the limo. Maybe his girl wasn't with it. I don't know what the situation was, but I just heard and read that they was arguing over some sex in the back of the limo. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was truly what they were arguing about, but that's definitely what came out. You know what I mean? And then end up punching her in the chest. You know what I'm saying? Now that's wild. You end up punching your chick in the chest and y'all was arguing about some sex in the back seat. That just seemed a little crazy to me, you know what I'm saying? And then you still on the limo driver for him trying to be like, hey, what's going on? We get involved, man. He got hit in the jaw. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. It sounded like I was frustrated. You feel me? I was on some frustration times, and you feel me? If y'all was in the back seat of the limo, goddamn it, arguing about some sex, and then violence occurred. You you feel me, assault charges and all that happen. You end up hitting your girl in the chest. And y'all was definitely frustrated. You feel me? I think this is just a case of y'all both was frustrated. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what needs to take place after that. Well, now that he might be going to jail, I don't know. It seems like she gonna be further frustrated some more. You know what I'm saying? After this situation, you feel me? But it definitely seemed like y'all was on some frustrated times, arguing about sex in the back of a limo to where it led to violence is a wild word. Trump is considering commutating Diddy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much true this is, but TMZ put it out there. You know what I'm saying? That he's considering commutating Diddy. You know, like I said and broke it down to you in the clip. You know what I'm saying? It's not a pardon. You know what I mean? It's just commutating, which means just pretty much get out of jail free card. I wouldn't be surprised if this happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, these stars, man, they use their power. They just got all this stardom and star power and money and all this, and it's just be getting used to just for them to get away with murder. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he get let out, it'll be surprising. You know what I mean? It'd definitely be like a slap in the face to, let's say, to the victims, to Cassie. You know what I mean? If that's all it took was for him to just get released after you've been the gavel dropped on you for 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Now, they saying he could be released this week, if so. I don't know if Trump is even considering this. You know what I'm saying? They saying I also read that the White House denied this, you feel me? But we don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. Money does talk. You feel me? As far as these celebrities, people in Hollywood go, money is a god. You feel me? It runs things. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? It wouldn't be surprised to me if he got commutated and got let out of jail early. You know what I'm saying? By Trump. Trump has a history of pardoning people. You know, he definitely pardoned Kodak Black. We all seen that. He definitely pardoned George Santos, whoever dude is, somebody that was tied to Diddy that he just gave a pardon to or something like that. So I don't know if he do or if he don't. It ain't gonna surprise me. You know what I'm saying? These celebrities get away with some of the darkest things that you would never think somebody would get away with. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's just, it wouldn't surprise me if they did all of a sudden just let him on out. It wouldn't even surprise me if they did do that and did not let the public know. You know what I'm saying? If he just happened to just sneak off somewhere, or if they put him off somewhere on an island or something for the next 4 years, people could think he was in jail, but they really let him out type. You know? That's just the way the government rocks, where they get down. You know what I mean? All about deception, covering things up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you know what I mean? This has been episode 319, though. You know what I mean? Thank you for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Thank you all for watching. You feel me? As we all know, you could have been doing anything you wanted to do. Whether you was a little brother, a little sister, whether you was an older cousin, a little cousin, whether you was cousin Pookie, cousin Mook, cousin Poo Poo, cousin Man, cousin TT. You know what I'm saying? Whether you was a mother, a father, grandfather, whether you was a grandfather, grandmother. You feel me? And if y'all got pets that's sitting there, you know what I'm saying? Watching Kons podcast too, whether your pet is a cat, you got a pet dog, a pet hedgehog, a pet iguana, pet bearded dragon, pet squirrel, you have a pet alligator, a pet pig, a pet goldfish, a pet bird, whoever your pet is, I definitely give him a salute. You know what I'm saying? Like you see the homie scrolling up the screen giving you that good salute. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching Kons podcast. You know what I mean? The beat you hear creeping up was definitely made by none other than Amazing Beats. You feel me? Rest in peace to Amazing Beats. You know what I'm saying? So let this beat talk to you while these credits roll up on the screen with my last minute little comments on these subjects. You know what I'm saying? But thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next episode.
You hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you? hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you?